Cutts.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm here today in State of Ohio versus Lyndsey M. Krauss, case number 26CR000162. Defendant is present in open court today with her counsel, John Salem. Your Honor, here today for sentencing. The defendant was last before Your Honor on May 26th of 2026, where she pled guilty to count 1, tampering with records of felony of the 5th degree, and count 3, theft of felony of the 5th degree, with the agreement to pay full restitution. At that time, a pre-sentence report and victim impact statement were ordered. At a later date, a psychological evaluation was ordered. It's the state's understanding that all of those have been completed and provided to the court, that all parties are prepared to go to sentencing at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Salem.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
With regard to sentencing, Your Honor, my client and I did submit a sentencing memorandum back in July when we were first here. Since then, my client has begun individual treatment and therapy with Mindfully Mental Health. I submitted that as an addendum to the court. Yesterday, there should be a letter in your file regarding her treatment there. I would present to the court, Your Honor, that my client is amenable to community control in this matter. She is asking for a community control sanction and requesting no period of incarceration for the reasons that I'm about to state. I know that she has a letter that she wants to read to the court. My client has owned up to the offenses in this matter. She's accepted accountability for what she did. She's a single mother of young children who rely on her for financial and emotional support. She has a very strong support system. We've attached several letters of recommendation and reference to her sentencing memorandum, which is before the court. Her brother, who wrote one of those letters, is here today to support her. There's an agreed amount of restitution in this matter. My client is able to put a big chunk toward that immediately following today's hearing, and has committed to me, and which has been relayed to the court, that she would be able to pay at least $300 a month after that. She's gainfully employed, wants to keep her employment. Any period of incarceration would obviously cause her to lose her employment and then have to start back from ground zero. This is definitely a serious offense, but not the most serious version of violation of this statute, Your Honor. However, she acknowledges what she did, and
I'm quite frankly, I'm not even sure what that means. That's gobbledygook language in the statute. It's pretty serious to Mr. Griffin. It's the most serious to Mr. Griffin.
Absolutely. Absolutely, understood. For those reasons, Your Honor, we're asking that she be able to continue. She started her mental health treatment online on May 8th of 2026 and has since transitioned into in-person. In her IOP, she's expected to go and has been going every single week. I think you go on Wednesdays, if I'm not mistaken.
Wednesdays.
And she's asking the court to give her the ability to continue that and to be able to prove to the court that she can make this right and finally get the mental health help that she needs. She has some diagnoses that are being addressed, and that's what we are seeking.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Krauss, what do you want to tell me before I impose sentence?
Oh, stand up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
please.
Your Honor, I want to start by apologizing to the victims, to my family, and to the court. I'm deeply ashamed of my actions, and I take full responsibility for everything that I did. I know I've caused a great deal of embarrassment and pain for everybody involved in this situation, and there's no excuse for my behavior. I want to be a better person and a better parent for my children. That is why I'm fully committed to making this right. I've agreed to the restitution plan, and I will pay back every penny that I owe. Over the last few months, I faced my mental health head-on through regular therapy. I have recently been diagnosed with PTSD and dissociative amnesia. While these diagnoses do not excuse my behavior, they have helped me understand what I need to address and have allowed me to receive the appropriate treatment. I'm committed to continuing therapy and have ongoing appointments every Wednesday in person at the court's request through the end of the year instead of going online. After the end of the year, I will schedule the following year as well, and for going to the unseen for future. I will continue doing the work necessary to stay healthy, remain sober, and live a law-abiding citizen for the sake of my family and community. I also respectfully ask the court to consider my children when determining my sentence. They depend on me both financially and emotionally, and I'm the only parent who provides their daily care. It is my sincere hope that the court will show leniency so I can remain in my home, continue caring for my children, and keep moving forward with my treatment, recovery, and responsibilities as their parent. I understand that rebuilding trust will take time, and I know that my actions have consequences. I am committed to proving through my actions, not just my words, that I can be responsible, honest, and a productive member of my community. Thank you for your time and consideration, Your Honor.
What exactly did you do here with regard to these thefts? Explain to me exactly what you did.
I took money that didn't belong to me and put it in my account.
How did you do that?
I moved it from a checking account that belonged to John Griffin and put it in my checking account.
And how many times did you do that?
3.
And what amounts did you do that?
I believe 2,500, 1,500, and I paid 2,000. I'm not 100% sure. It was like a year ago or more.
How many loans did Mr. Griffin make to you?
A lot. From the time that I started working there, several, a lot.
Okay.
It was on a constant
And
basis.
how is it that you arrived at an amount and a payback method for each of those loans?
They would come out of my paycheck every 15th and last of the month.
And the 3 amounts that you took that you described earlier, were those in the nature of a loan?
No.
Why did you tell, when you were interviewed by the probation department, why did you tell Ms. Krauss that after you were terminated, Mr. Griffin went over the books and found 3 loans that he said he did not know about? And that you said he knew about all these loans she took, but takes responsibility because you should have, in your words, covered your butt. Why did you portray those as loans that Mr. Griffin should have known about but didn't know about?
What do you mean, what should have known about but didn't know
Well,
about?
you indicate that after you were fired, he went over the books and found 3 loans he said he did not know about. And you said, meaning the 3 transactions that you just talked about,
Okay.
that he should have known about them, and you should have covered your butt by documenting it. So you perceive those to have been loans. You portray those to Ms. Krauss as having been loans. Why did you do that? They weren't loans, right?
No, they were not.
Right? But you insisted to her, Ms. Krauss, that they were loans that Mr. Griffin should have known about but didn't know about.
No.
Okay. Well, you did. That's what you said.
I mean, I did actively put them in Sage, but I did not actively ask John.
Okay. And well, isn't the nature of a loan that you come to some agreement with whoever's loaning the money
Correct.
about the terms, the amount, and the term?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks to me like you're trying to soft sell what you did as some misunderstanding.
It's not.
Well, I know it's not.
Right.
Everybody knows it's not, except you seem to still hold on to this rope that it was just some big mistake that was made that shouldn't have been made.
No, I clearly understand that it's not. I had myself in such a deep hole, like such a deep hole. I had so many loans, like from the time that I started working at Griffin Technology, I had so many loans, like from day one. My first paycheck was a loan. My very first paycheck was a loan because I wasn't going to get paid for like 4 weeks. So John was kind enough. He said, okay, well, I'll give you a loan for your first paycheck, which
Well,
obviously got paid back.
So what you
So
did?
I was always in the hole. I was always in the hole. I was constantly in the hole
All right. So what you
from
did?
day one.
What you did?
I got myself in the hole. I'm sorry.
What you did was take complete advantage of Mr. Griffin's good nature, right? That's exactly what you
Yes,
did.
at the end. Yes, you're correct.
Why were you terminated?
They say because I messed up invoices and I had a bad attitude, but there's a paper that says exactly why, but that's exactly why I was terminated.
I
Yes.
don't want to know about the paper that says why. I want to know why, in your mind, why were you terminated?
Messing up invoices and making mistakes over and over, I guess. Nothing pertaining to this.
Well, you didn't know about it until they went over the books after you were terminated, right?
Correct.
So how long after you were terminated did you find out that he found out about these thefts?
Not until I was pulled over and arrested, which
When was
in
that?
February.
In February of 26.
Yes, on the 18th to be exact.
In your mind, would that have been a good reason to fire you if they knew about it
Sure.
before they fired you?
Absolutely.
Why did you filed an EEOC claim against Mr.
I
Griffin's
did,
company?
yes.
Okay. And when did you file that?
I filed it in October because I had asked for time off because of my mental well-being. It was declining.
Okay.
There was a lot of other stressors at work as well.
And you were denied that, right?
I was denied it after this case was brought up. Yes.
No, denied the time off.
Oh, denied the time off?
Right.
I was terminated the next day.
Okay.
That's why.
And then you filed this EEOC claim when?
Like a week later?
And that continued on through actually yesterday, right?
No.
No, there's a release dated August 19th.
I have not been messing with that at all, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Well,
I've been ignoring them. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not involved
who's
with
Cahill?
them. Who?
Who's Cahill?
Your Honor, Robert Cahill's the attorney for Mr. Griffin and his company.
Oh.
He drafted the letters.
After you were pulled over on February 18th
Mm-hmm.
and were arrested, were you arrested then?
Yes.
So you knew about the theft then. You knew that they knew about the theft then, right?
Yeah, that's when I found out. Yes.
And this EEOC action continued after that
Mhm.
point in time, right?
Yes.
For quite a while,
Yes. Until
many months.
Yes, until you asked me to.
Listen, I got nothing to do with this. I found it when you were here on the plea on May 26th. And I was told of this EEOC claim. I was a bit outraged, quite a bit outraged.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. Well, it's either fair or not fair. That doesn't really matter, okay? But that was May 26th. After that, there's quite a bit of activity from the defense of that claim by Mr. Griffin's company with Mr. Cahill, which involved a lot of money. So you get away with $11,000 some odd dollars. He pays about another $15,000 to fight this bogus EEOC claim, which doesn't go away until yesterday, which continued to be active because Mr. Cahill was active on behalf of Mr. Griffin through sometime in July. So what's the appropriate penalty for something like this? What do you think is the appropriate penalty for something like this?
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
The solution, as you indicate, as Mr. Salem has represented, is to pay back a chunk of, I don't know, $3,500, I think was the number, and then pay back the remaining $8,000 over time. And the request is that there be no incarceration penalty because you have to pay it back and because of your kids and the care of your kids and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
I don't know, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, you had this identity fraud in Geauga County in which you took advantage of your older two children's grandmother on their father's side by putting a credit card in her name and you taking the proceeds, right?
I did use it, yes.
Kind of similar to here.
Yes.
When you go to this mindfully, I've never heard of mindfully, but what do you do there? You've been there 4 times. What do you do?
We're going to be working on.
What have you done so far? What have you worked on? Tell me, explain what happened.
We're working on my childhood traumas, my teenage traumas, working on how to not disassociate from things that have happened because I have dissociative amnesia. And then there's things called EDMR and CBT therapy. So those will be different therapies that I work on.
What was your diagnosis there?
Depression, anxiety, bipolar, I believe.
What's your drug use been?
Nothing as of right now, but before just marijuana.
On a daily basis, right?
Correct.
Where are you working now?
Handlebar.
Where's that?
It's in Bedford,
Doing what?
bartending.
Where do you live right now?
I live in Chesterland.
And who do you live with?
I live with Gail and my 3 children.
Gail from the credit card case?
Yes, I do.
All right, what else you want to tell me?
I mean, I'm going to continue doing everything I'm supposed to be. I have been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not really sure.
All right, have a seat. Ms. Cutts.
Thank you, Your Honor. Honor, Mr. Griffin is here, as well as other individuals related to this case who would like to address the court.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is John Griffin, and I'm representing my company's Griffin Technology Group and Vector Aviation. Between the dates of May 22nd, 2025 and October 2nd, 2025, we were the victims of criminal offenses committed by Lyndsey Krauss. This year marks the 25th anniversary of Griffin Technology Group, an information technology services company that provides technology support, cybersecurity, and business solutions to organizations throughout Northeast Ohio and across the country. I started this company with a goal of supporting my family, creating opportunities for others, and serving our community. Over the years, I expanded those goals through other business ventures, including Vector Aviation, a flight school and aviation training company that helps individuals pursue aviation careers while serving the needs of our local community, with the same commitment to creating opportunities, supporting employees, and building businesses that people could depend upon. For me, this case is not simply about the money that was stolen. It is about trust that was violated, blatant dishonesty, and a complete and continuing lack of accountability for Ms. Krauss's actions. Ms. Krauss was not a stranger. She was an employee whom I trusted with administrative and bookkeeping responsibilities. She had access to company accounts, financial records, and sensitive information because I believed she would act with integrity. Like many small business owners, I rely on trusted employees to help carry the responsibilities that come with running a business. Without trust, honesty, and accountability, a small business cannot survive. What makes this situation especially painful is that I genuinely tried to help her. During her employment, Ms. Krauss made it known that she was experiencing financial difficulties. Griffin Technology Group's culture is to help our employees, and Ms. Krauss was provided with several employee loans and financial assistance, which were properly documented and handled through normal business processes. It is important to me to help Ms. Krauss because she needed financial support and a chance to get through a difficult period. I never imagined that someone who had been given such assistance would later choose to steal from the company that had helped her. Ms. Krauss's theft is the most painful betrayal of trust I have experienced as a business owner. Given Mrs. Krauss's extended period of poor performance resulting in her termination, it was necessary for me to attempt to reconcile the company's books. It was through this effort to correct her mistakes that I first discovered Ms. Krauss's theft. I remember sitting in my office, reviewing records and trying to understand what I was seeing. My first reaction was disbelief. I was hoping it was just a mistake. I wanted to believe that someone I had trusted and personally helped would not intentionally do something like this. As the evidence of her theft became clearer, I realized that someone I had trusted with access to our business, our financials, our future, had deliberately chosen to take advantage of this trust. This realization was heartbreaking. After Ms. Krauss was terminated, we spent countless hours reviewing records, reconciling accounts, gathering documentation, working with law enforcement, and determining the full extent of what had occurred, time that should have been spent serving clients, supporting employees, growing the businesses, and focusing on the future instead became consumed by dealing with the consequences of her actions. What has been particularly difficult is that the impact of Ms. Krauss's actions did not end when a theft was discovered or while working with law enforcement concerning these criminal proceedings. The theft and the resulting loss of productivity to investigate the theft was only the beginning. Incredibly, Ms. Krauss had asserted baseless charges against Griffin Technology Group in the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for gender and disability discrimination and had demanded $66,562.50 to settle her claims. Our lawyer provided the legitimate reasons behind Ms. Krauss's termination, namely subpar performance and poor behavior, and informed her lawyer, who previously had been unaware of her theft. Ms. Krauss was able to make claims against us without merit, basis, or evidence at no cost to her to attempt to extort additional monies and knowingly bring additional pain and suffering to us all, both financially and in resource expenditures. I respectfully ask the court, in arriving at a just sentence, to consider not only the immediate harm caused by Ms. Krauss's theft, the continuing harm caused by Ms. Krauss's baseless claims in an attempt for further financial gain, and the lasting impact of her offenses and her assertion of baseless claims have had on me, Griffin Technology Group, Vector Aviation, and all of our employees. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. In this case, I know it has been said this is not the most serious form of the offense, and in the sentencing memorandum, it did indicate this was less serious than the average theft or tampering with records. The state would disagree with that. First of all, often in a theft case, it is a one-time theft, and often from somebody that you don't even know, out of a store and things of that nature. This was an ongoing theft of those 3 specific loans on May 22nd of 2025 for $2,500, July 11th of 2025 for $1,500, and August 14th of 2025 for $2,500, not to mention the almost $4,000 that the defendant received and put into the system for Vector Aviation that was never then deposited.
Hold on. This $3,900 and some odd dollars in cash, what was that all about?
I'm just going to say that I did take the money, and I am admitting to that.
Okay. So how did you exactly how did that transpire?
It was in the bank bag in the office, and I just took it.
That was given to you to deposit, right?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
tell me everything, not some things. Tell me everything. How did it come that you were in possession of that? Exactly how?
Paul would bring it to the office, and I would put it into the system, and then it would be booked into Sage, and then I would put it in the cash bag, and then it would be there just sitting, waiting for a deposit to go into the bank, but that's not what happened. I ended up just taking it.
Who was responsible to deposit it?
It could be me for deposit, it could be John Griffin, but normally it would be put on me to deposit.
So you entered it into the system indicating,
That it was just in the office, waiting for deposit.
okay? So when you entered this into the system, you said it was entered in as to be deposited.
Yeah, it would show like a cash deposit.
Right, it showed a deposit, right?
Yeah.
That never occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Go ahead, Ms. Cutts.
Thank you, Your Honor. So this was ongoing activity during the years that the defendant was working there in 2025 specifically, so both at Griffin Technology Group and then also at Vector Aviation. In addition to taking that money, she already had a loan that had been approved that she was paying back on. However, she stopped those payments through the system, so they were no longer automatically taking the money out of her paycheck to pay back the loan that was in place. So she manipulated multiple systems. There was a system that they no longer used, which is where she documented some of these aspects. She would put untrue reasons or explanations in as to why money was removed. So she did go into their records, which is why Mr. Griffin, when he was going through, found those discrepancies of where money was and had gone. So we have a situation of an ongoing theft, ongoing behavior, which would make this more serious than the average theft as opposed to less serious. Also, the victim obviously suffered psychological and economic harm. Mr. Griffin said it better than I ever could, how it has affected him, his company, and the relationship that he had with the defendant, as well as the economic harm, the actual money taken, as well as all of the issues that have come since this has occurred that have also cost the company's money. The actual money taken in that effect is the $11,133.67, and then, as Mr. Griffin has indicated, there have been a lot of expenses separate from the actual theft that have created more expenses and more concerns for them, as well as the time to go through everything and to fix everything to make sure all their documents, all their systems have the correct information so that he can go forward. As he indicated, there was that claim of discrimination that made an initial demand of over $66,000 that just continued to linger on, making them have to, Griffin Technology Group, have to deal with all of those issues while the defendant didn't have to do anything. She doesn't have an extensive criminal history, but in 2016 she does have a conviction for identity fraud out of Geauga County that entailed her opening up a credit card in a quasi-family member, her children's paternal grandmother's name, using that credit card. She was caught when she tried to get cash advances. So there's some similarities of taking advantage of people she knew and trying to get money from them without their knowledge. And in the pre-sentence report, there were just a lot of statements, as I mentioned, about thinking that he knew, but she used the old payroll system, she already had the outstanding loan, and the lack of truly taking responsibility and then to come into this court and ask to consider her children and her family when she was not considering them in her actions is concerning to the state. If the court gives her an opportunity on community control, we do think that jail time is appropriate. This was thousands of dollars. She does have a prior felony conviction for similar activity. So we do think there should be a punishment involved as well as services that may help her in the future. She does have 2 days credit. We would recommend, if the court does do community control, that she enter and successfully complete the NeoCap program. All remaining counts would be dismissed, and that she would be made aware of, if given this opportunity, that if she were to violate, she would be looking at up to 24 months in prison. And that would be the state's comments at this time. Thank you.
How many people, when you worked there, were working at Griffin Technology Group?
I believe it was 11 people.
Does that include Vector?
Vector is a different entity at a different building, and
How many were working there?
they're independent contractors, so I feel like Paul would be the main person, and independent contractors maybe 10 to 15.
So 11 people working at Griffin,
Correct.
11,000 stolen, and a whole bunch of money spent fighting off an invalid claim is a significant impact on a small company, right? You handled the books. Wasn't that a significant impact on that company?
I mean, possibly.
Possibly.
It could be, yes.
Possibly.
But the moment that my attorney stated that he was going to no longer pursue it, I completely stopped. Like, I said, okay, we're done. So I'm not sure what
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. But
John Griffin's attorney was
But
citing.
that's beside the point. That's beside the point. All right, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report as well as the previous Geauga pre-sentence report, the psychological evaluation, the victim impact statement. I've reviewed the sentencing memorandum, which included letters in support of you that was filed by Mr. Salem. I've considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. You've got the one conviction in 14 for similar activity, which was essentially a theft by deception. I'm going to find you amenable to community control. I'm going to place you on community control for 5 years. You're going to serve 150 days in the Lake County Jail with credit for 2. During a 30-day period, which I want to put in the entry is going to be sooner rather than later, like within the next 30 days, she entered into the jail treatment program and completed it. As a matter of fact, why don't you put in the entry that by September, no later than September 15th, she's to be entered into and complete the jail treatment program. Follow the recommendations. Upon a filing by Mr. Salem, I will consider work release, attend at least 3 AA or NA meetings a week and obtain a sponsor. You're to utilize only one doctor, one dentist, and one pharmacy for prescription medication. You're to take your medication as is prescribed and sign releases. No contact with the Griffin Technology
My car
Group
and everything.
and any associated companies or individuals. Restitution in the amount of $11,133.67. The amount of at least $250 per month. Obtain and maintain full employment and pay the costs and supervision fees. Ms. Knauss, any other terms you think are applicable?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Do you understand the terms?
Yes.
If you fail to comply with the terms of your community control, the state will file a motion to terminate. And if I find you violated and I terminate you, you face 24 months in prison. You understand that?
Yes.
Any remaining counts are dismissed. Anything else, Ms. Cutts?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Is the community control concurrent for each
Yes.
count? And then I may have missed it. I'm not sure if the court had indicated no use of drug and alcohol with the periodic screens.
I did not. So there's to be no use of drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened. Mr. Salem, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we're adjourned.
All rise. Wow.